Good morning. There were glorious moments there about 6-7 minutes ago, as there was a bigger gap between the Golan Heights and the cloud, and the red sun was trying to break through, but that heavy cloud has covered it again. But still, the promise is very strong for a beautiful light this morning, like this beautiful Ponciano tree. I must admit I didn't wake as fast as, or as early as I would have been better if I was 10 minutes earlier, but it was perfect to get such a good sleep, so I'm happy about that. And here we are, as a new day opens up for us to do good. The readings today are very powerful, and our times are marked by them. Our lives, our souls are marked by them. On the one hand, we see the arrogance of the successful, and King Sennacherib is so confident, so assured. He's radiating his confidence, his supremacy, and it's in a destructive way. Oh, there we have more light coming now. A second emergence of the sun this morning. I didn't catch the first one except in the picture I sent you guys in the WhatsApp chat. So there you have the sun again. Now it's very interesting, as powerful as Sennacherib was, his whole system cracks. You know, there we are. Look at all that light coming out. Those rays. There was a prediction last night that there was 30 to 40%. It was 31st and then it went to 40% for rain at 6 o'clock this morning. But that's over and gone. Good morning, Roberto. I thought that was you with the hat. Yes, you want to walk with me or you want to stay there, as you wish. Is your family there? We can walk down further and see another part of the shoreline here.
Are you broadcasting?
Yes, we're live, Roberto.
Good evening, everyone. No, good morning.
Well, good evening in Atlanta, but...
No, good night. Yes.
Yeah. What time is it now? It's 6 o'clock almost. So we have very, very dramatic readings today with Sennacherib sending word to Jerusalem that he's going to take them out. You know, the second part of the exile is threatening. And he comes on with such arrogance because he's confident that since he beat up so many other peoples and nations, he's going to take them out very quickly. It's amazing how when people are successful, they have that turn of pride that really, it happens to everybody. It happens. I mean, it can happen to me any day at all. It's for some little good thing you do, some little success. We have to have a great virtue of humility to work on all the time, you know. You probably see that in business people as well.
All the time.
All the time.
Because one of the great qualities of business people is that they are ambitious.
Yes, and gets them working and work hard.
Work hard, they're ambitious and they have we have big goals, we have dreams, we want to transcend, and that could take us a little further.
Yes. Yes.
It's the nature.
Yes.
Right.
Human nature always wants more. And you know what? There's a great prophetic meaning in that. Because we're made for more. We're made for a more that the creatures of this world can't fill. And we think it could be filled by creatures. And so we're always longing and reaching and grasping for more and more and more. Because there's a search for infinity, a search for that union with God. There's such a big hole in our heart, such a big gap, that we want more and more and more. And so Sennacherib then is confident that he can do it because he beat down so many already. And he says, I'm going to wipe out Jerusalem. And that's an easy attitude for the human being to have. It brings a lot of pain to others. There's a lot of violence involved. Roberto, I'm always intrigued by these flowers here. Look at these, how small they are.
Wonderful.
You know? Amazing. The Ponciana tree, the red ones over there, they're much bigger. And even these bougainvillea here are so big. In contrast to those little ones. And then I forgot the name, and somebody told me last year, and I forgot the name of these little white ones. They're so beautiful, so precious and so tender, but then somebody declared them to be weeds. They're coming from a crawler, I think. They can take over a garden, but they're really very beautiful, at least in my opinion, in my estimation.
Well, Father, always is a strategy. In the business world, we have goals, but we have strategies.
Yes.
Any person who does business, we understand the strategy. So the strategy for that excess of ambition is humility.
Yes.
So
Well, we're going to get to that now with Hezekiah. It's interesting because Hezekiah then gets the warning from Sennacherib that his face is going to be smashed. And he goes to the temple to pray.
exactly.
And he lays out the letter that Sennacherib wrote. And he puts it out before the Lord. And then the ever possible collapse happens. Like it happens so many times in also just, let's say, financial history or military history. And 185,000 of his soldiers are wiped out. And so the guy withdraws and he never even shoots an arrow at Jerusalem. And how many times we have big dreams and the carpet's pulled out from under our feet. Maybe there's a health issue. Maybe there's an economic downturn. I'll tell you a story since you're a businessman. In Germany, when I was there was an accountant who used to, his gift to us was he set up all our statutes for our non-profit in Germany. This is back in 1989, 1990. And he was an accountant, so he was doing obviously work for many different businesses. And then there was a big downturn in the middle of the 90s or towards the end of the 90s in Germany. And they had put a lot into East Germany to renew Eastern Germany after the reunification. So Germany felt a terrible crunch, and I'm not sure if there was a worldwide dimension to the economy downturn at that moment. But I kind of sympathized with him. I said, I'm sorry you probably have a rough time with all of this economic downturn. And he said, no. In my work, when the clients come in, the business leaders come into my office to help with accounting, they're so arrogant when they're doing well. but when things are tough, they're much more human. Isn't that interesting?
Wow. Of course.
You know, a little illness makes us very humble. Oh, we had a little family of baby nutria here the other day.
Ah, I saw swimming.
Yes. The nutria were intentionally farmed here, but it didn't work out economically decades ago. And then they were released into the wild. So that's why there's a lot of nutria here in the Sea of Galilee. We sometimes get a nice shot here with the light. So then Hezekiah prays with all his heart. He opens himself up to God's intervention. And in the midst of all the darkness, the light breaks through. So sometimes the forces of darkness, you know, we don't have to be completely afraid. Okay, the forces of darkness can hurt us. They can hurt our... they can destroy. I mean, how many revolutions and armies have destroyed so many families right now in a country that's very much in the news, but many others that are not in the news. And then there's a whole path that we were dealing with that yesterday with the exile. And one major line Jesus said that's so important is, "My kingdom is not of this world." So what kingdom are we building? That's really the big test, you know. What kingdom are we building? What palace are we building? What life are we building?
But, Father,
Yes.
you said something important. My kingdom is not of this world, but in another part he say, my kingdom is already here.
Yes, and my kingdom is in the world, but not of the world, exactly.
But it's
And that's what he
already
did here
here.
in the Sea of Galilee. He was announcing the kingdom and the forgiveness of sins. That's the big summary of the Galilean ministry. He was announcing, presenting the kingdom. But the kingdom did come through Calvary and resurrection.
And look, his kingdom is, and this week we're preparing for the Sacred Heart feast. His kingdom is his heart. And
Exactly.
his heart has triumphed in the world, because even though we are seeing so many calamities and conflicts and divisions and this confusion, there's many expressions of love in the world.
Absolutely.
Everywhere.
Yes.
In
Even-
Africa, in America,
and
in
also
Asia.
seeping into the secular world, and many times in places where you would not expect it at all. Absolutely, absolutely. Look at this happy cormorant up there, perched on that branch. Actually, we had that conversation yesterday with the youth group that was here in Magdala, with Jason Everts. Jason Everts is a great speaker who speaks about the human body and about sexuality, and he's an extraordinary following all around the world. He's an expert in theology of the body, a great speaker. He delivers it very well. And these young people were there yesterday, you know, and it was so wholesome to see them. And they were here from many different countries, and there was that sense, you know, that the future is being shaped also by everyone who is virtuous, everyone who says yes to God's grace. And for that moment, for Hezekiah, it was being shaped by his prayer in the temple, by Isaiah's word confirming his prayer that God heard his petition. There is so much going on in the world, so much good, and sometimes it's not what people notice. I just lost my text here. Oh, there I have it again. So I want to get down to the Psalm line. Help us with your right hand, O Lord, and answer us. And this is a great position to be in. It's not the position of arrogance. Oh, look at the purple heron on top of the branch there.
Wow.
Help us, O Lord, and rescue us. Now the purple heron's neck is pulled in, so it looks very short. But actually, it's a very long neck. Once she gets flying, you'll see it. We won't wait for her this morning because the time is wrapping up. And then we have very strong lines in the gospel. I think I read the wrong psalm for you today because my little phone had clicked back. So the psalm verse was, God upholds his city forever. But it's like that, it's the eternal city, you know, for which we're hoping. So the gospel is very strong, some very strong lines. Don't throw your pearls before swine, because they'll trample them underfoot and tear you to pieces. You have to be careful of the wild boar up there in the mountain, Roberto. I had some close encounters with them over the years. Especially if they have young, they can be very hostile. And enter through the narrow gate, the gate of exile, the gate of sickness, the gate of poverty, the gate of forced immigration. Enter through the narrow gate. That's a very important line. Sennacherib was coming with a huge army, hundreds of thousands of soldiers. To conquer, to open up a huge swath before him. But the people that make it in heaven are the people who also know how to bow their head and to go through the narrow gate. I'm not sure, it'll be an incredible surprise in heaven to see who's all there. To see the height of, there's another purple heron right here. To see the height of holiness and sanctity and joy in heaven that people will enjoy, with which they'll be blessed. Thy kingdom is not of this world. People, we're going to do our little selfie moment. The time has rolled by quickly. When somebody is here, that happens, you know. So you'll see Roberto again here in our selfie moment. God bless you as we head off to Instagram now. Let's pray for the world, because there's lots of Sennacheribs, and let's pray for lots of Hezekiahs. And let's pray for all the people on the ground, as many of them are forced into narrow gates, that they know that God accompanies them very closely with his path of light, and they can walk forward with confidence in God. See you later, alligators.